Hey, it's Micah, and welcome to Shark Tank Deconstructed. This is when I react as a 20-year entrepreneur to the Shark Tank pictures, and as an entrepreneur who's been able to negotiate distribution and gotten into Fortune 50 retail distributors. I have a unique perspective from my perspective on how I think that the pictures are going. So what you're going to get from me is predictions, and let's get it started. Get it started. All right, here we go.
Next up is a food brand inspired by recipes handed down from generations.
It's so funny because like all the sharks are like fully made up, like in full Shark Tank makeup for this pitch. And by the way, I have not seen this episode yet. As you know, on Shark Tank Deconstructed, I don't watch these things in advance. So what you get from me is the raw truth of the matter.
Hola, Sharks. My name is Hector Saldivar, and I'm from Tiburon, California. Tiburon means shark. I'm seeking $500,000 in exchange of 5% of my company, Tia Lupita.
Oh, God.
Sharks, I'm going to ask you for a favor. Raise your hand if you like to eat tacos. Come on, we all do. No tacos for you, damn it.
Literally everyone likes eating tacos.
Raise your other hand if you like to eat clean, simple ingredients. Now, try to touch your ears with your elbows.
Nobody can do that.
You
Yeah,
can't.
nobody can
It's
do that.
impossible. Yeah, believe me, I've tried. It's impossible. Just like it's impossible for current Mexican brands to bring innovation and keep their authenticity using.
Very good. He came in, he made them laugh, he ingratiated himself to the room. That's very important. When I went and I pitched to a Fortune 50 company, I did the same thing. I came in, I ingratiated myself to the room. I was relaxed. I pitched in a way that made everyone in the room also feel comfortable with me. And then he went right into the differentiation, the contrast between his product and what's on the marketplace. Good job.
Artificial ingredients, binders, and fillers. Growing up in Mexico, we don't inherit cars, jewelry, or money. What gets passed down to us
I like the music.
are family recipes. Enter Tia Lupita Foods, the better-for-you Mexican-inspired food brand that uses clean, simple ingredients that starts with one of the world's most sustainable plants.
All right, I'll stop dancing now.
Cactus or nopales is
Oh, I think chips is a very competitive market, especially if you're just trying to break in. Although he does have a unique value proposition, which is, it seems like, clean foods. So let's see how this is going to go. Remember, I might do some drops if I think that it's not going that well.
Mexico Sweetheart, a low-glycemic superfood that we use in our line of grain-free tortilla chips and tortillas. Sharks, be prepared to fall in love with our 5 flavors of tortilla chips. They have all the crunch and texture that you're used to, but are packed with superfoods, making them a great source of fiber. And we have 2 types of tortillas, a grain-free and cactus.
That music is killing them.
Okara and cassava, and a corn and cactus. Now, if you're wondering why they're green, it's because of all that dinero we're gonna make together. The Tia Lupita, we believe 2 things. Food is love, and eating good should be easier than trying to touch your ears with your elbows. So who's ready to make Everyday Taco Tuesday in America with Tia Lupita?
Nicely done. So I have some tortillas.
Not
There's
bad.
a bag here of cactus tortillas.
He was asking for 500,000, 5%.
And then there's habanero, chipotle, salsa verde, and hot sauce.
Yes.
Oh, it's hot.
You should have started with a little salsa verde and then go into the medium body hot sauce, which is what we call the OG, then chipotle, and then habanero.
This is one of the first iterations grain-free tortilla chips that taste good.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wonderful. It means a lot.
The tortillas are good, and it's only 45 calories for a whole tortilla.
Absolutely, yes.
Can you give us your background and why you decided to go into your business?
I'm originally from Monterrey, Mexico. I moved here 18 years ago. My mom, Lupita,
A
would show
good
me
story
packages.
sells well. Just so you know, if you're ever pitching, a good story is really, really important, because a good story will ultimately end up helping to sell the brand. So I'm looking forward to hearing a story.
Like a regular mom does. Now, granted, a regular care package would be a sweater or some socks, maybe a little money. If you're lucky, my mom would send me hot sauce. It's a family recipe hot sauce that had been passed down to a single family member. So I started sharing that with friends and colleagues, and everybody started falling in love with my mom's hot sauce. Then they started planting the seed, and so I started ideating this bottling and commercializing this my mom's hot sauce. I came to the realization that the current Mexican brands or Hispanic brands here in the United States were not doing anything to innovate. We would bring innovation, that we were trying to change the perception that Mexican food is unhealthy. And that's when I decided that Tia Lupita would become more than just a hot sauce brand. It would become a platform brand.
Hector, how many years ago was that?
We started in 2019.
Tell us what your revenues are for the last 3 years.
So in 2020, we did $900,000.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a good amount.
We did 1.5
Sweet.
million.
Yeah.
And this year we're gonna do 4 million.
Wow.
Very nice. Those are trending numbers. Whenever you're going in and you're talking to someone, and I had to do this as well when I had my pitch, is the buyers in retail stores, or even if you're pitching to venture capitalists or private equity investors, they're going to ask you about, essentially, they're gauging your traction by how much you're selling. And that's what this process is. He came out the gate with 900,000. That's why they're shocked or surprised that he has this traction. This is a really important message to convey to you, which is that your message when it comes to valuation has got to be that show this traction.
Profitable. Last month was our first profitable month.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. We're very proud.
Where are you selling?
We're in Sprouts nationally, 5 regions of Whole Foods, key regional accounts from Wegmans to Walmart. We have Target on site, Publix.
Do you have to pay to get listed there?
And actually last year, we took a huge hit with slotting.
How big is that hit?
So in 2020, we lost around 700K.
Okay.
In 2021,
It's a big hit.
we lost 1.2.
Ooh, so how much
That's
have
a
you
huge
invested
hit.
or brought in?
We've raised 1.9,
Wow.
1.9
There you have it.
so far, and now we're doing a full seed.
What
It's also a
percentage
good sign that he's raised that money. They may ask him, for instance, how much of that do they owe anyone else equity or shares in the company. That's probably going to come up. It may not though, especially if they raise it like doing community funding, crowdfunding to get that. But if that comes up and they owe someone significant equity, that's something to pay attention to.
company do you own?
I still own around 65%.
65.
And how much have you owned?
65% is actually a good number for him to own. It means that he has enough shares remaining to give them shares that are outstanding, meaning that he has enough equity to provide them equity for them to invest. So that's actually a decent number.
Money.
My prediction is his traction has gone up. I'm going to make this prediction early. His traction and revenue has gone up. He owns 65% of his shares remaining, or 65% of the company remaining. Therefore, he's going to get an offer from someone. They may even fight over this deal. This seems like even though he lost some money because of COVID or because the business environment was a bit interrupted, this seems like a good investment, and I expect if not fights over an offer.
Did you invest?
Around 700K.
Wow.
You're all in. Good for you.
We did a more line of credit against our mortgage and all
On
that.
your home?
Yeah, on our home.
Damn, Hector.
Yeah.
Well, at projected $4 million in sales, you're doing something right. But I just don't like. It's not that I dislike Mexican food. I just don't love it. I don't believe that I would have the passion to be able to help you with this, so I'm out.
Thank you so much.
Makes sense.
Appreciate it.
Damon's more of a
think, this is a long journey and
clothing
a
guy.
rich journey. I don't think the 5%, $500,000 is going to get you there. I'm out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Hector, I'm
Wow.
along the same lines.
I'm
I think
shocked
the tortillas
that
were great,
they're not
but
jumping on it.
you're in
I
a
think
business
someone
that's
is going to, though.
thrive. I just don't see the numbers working for me, so for that reason, I'm out.
Absolutely. And so, Mark, I appreciate that. And we do have a path of profitability. We proved it last month.
Let's focus on that, Hector, because you never told me what it cost you to make the product.
Right.
So walk me through the cactus grain-free sea salt. Let's just go with this
Right.
one. What does it cost to make?
Whenever you're in a pitch and someone is asking you a lot of questions about numbers, about packaging, about marketing, about it signals interest in what you're saying. Not just them trying to figure it out. That is part of it, but it's also interest in actually moving forward. So watch for a deal from Kevin, I think.
Yeah, that bag cost us $1.50.
Yes.
And then we retail it between $3.99 and $4.99.
That's a good margin.
Other grain-free tortilla chips out there.
$1.50 to $3.99 to $4.99.
For Chef
Good
Wonderful
margin.
that's grain-free, because that's my whole shtick these days, is healthier eating, healthier living. And this is one of the best I've tasted. I got to tell you that. But these numbers are tough. They're very tough.
Hector, while he's thinking, I'm going to jump in. I think you've done a really great job. What concerns me, though, is you have a lot of debt. There's a lot going on financially that really worries me. So for me, it's not the right investment. I'm sorry. I'm out.
Thank you, Lori.
As usual, all roads lead back to Mr. Wonderful.
I've heard that so many times.
Unfortunately, so have we.
It's a tough deal. I think you asked too much, because Lori's right. You got a ton of debt on this thing.
$500K for 5%.
If I can say one more thing, I just want to try to sell myself, because I haven't done up the opportunity. I've worked so hard for this last 4 years. I've been,
He's a hustler. Here come the tears.
Everything to me. It's honoring.
It's
not only
tough,
my
man, being an
culture,
entrepreneur.
My heritage, my mom.
It
right?
is.
Today, 1 month ago, my dad passed away.
See, people sacrifice a lot of stuff
I should have been there with my mom
for their dream.
in his 1 month memorial, but I couldn't say no to this opportunity. It's been a journey, but we're all in.
It's these kind of sacrifices that
Here's an offer.
the entrepreneurs make. See?
$500,000 in debt. It's
Ooh.
going to be 36 months. I'm going to do interest at 12.5%, which is current.
Ouch.
Sorry,
That
current.
is
That's market.
hard money right there.
Yeah, and I want 10% of the company.
So let's recap this offer. Kevin's offering him $500,000 as a loan to service his current debt. So for him to satisfy his debt, he's offered it to him for 12.5%, which is basically a hard money loan, because he wants it back in 36 months. And in exchange for helping him satisfy the debt, or sunset this debt, he's asking for 10% of the company. In one way, it puts his capital, he ensures that his capital goes to debt and not to some other frivolous area of the business that hasn't been planned out. And it forces the entrepreneur to try to think about how he's going to he can openly focus on new opportunities, new markets, and marketing. On the other side, it does kind of pigeonhole him into using this money for debt. Now, if he gives it to him as a loan, he might be able to use this however he wants, but he would be smart to use it for debt. But if his current debt interest is less than 12.5% at $500,000, it doesn't make sense necessarily for him to use this money to get rid of that debt if he can use it for a growth opportunity where he can make a lot more money than the $500,000. But 10% means that now his 65% ownership of the company goes down to 55%, which still makes him the majority owner. But that's where we are.
I'm taking a huge risk here, Hector.
And he is taking a huge risk. That's
like
true. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I'll do it as a line of credit. You draw it down, but I want first money back first.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you allowed to subordinate? Are you able to subordinate the debt?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
The concern here is the double of the equity that
I understand that, Hector, but you're asking me to get behind this product with my whole team, back you. If I do this deal, I can't do another one like it. This is my deal in this space. So that's a decision I have to make. Frankly, I'm not getting out of bed for 5%, Hector. I'm sorry.
That's a good idea. That's a good point that he's making.
But it's the only one I'm going to do.
That he's locked in.
And you get a better deal elsewhere, Hector, speaking on your behalf. That's a rich deal.
Well, you didn't make him an offer, Barbara.
I was honest about that right up front. I'm just
You
saying,
wanted
it's
an offer on
expensive
Shark
deal.
Tank, you just got one. You may not like it, but that's why they call it the Shark Tank.
You can counter.
Before we go forward, I gave you my prediction. What do you think? Do you think that Kevin is going to make a good deal? And if he does, do you think that it is a good deal for the gentleman here from Tia Lupita Foods? Put your comment in the comment section and let me know what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mr. Wonderful, the 10% is the only thing that is
I don't know if it's worth
rattling me.
anything yet. Do you know what it takes to sell a company in the snack area? You got to get to 50 million before any strategic's even interested.
What's that you're willing to give? You knew
And
we
here,
weren't going to go
Hector,
for
here's
five.
what I'm also thinking. You're going to keep raising money. I'm going to get diluted. I mean, I've seen this movie before, my friend. If I start at 5%, I'll have less than 1% by the time you're finished getting to 50 million.
Would you do the same deal for 7.5%?
No.
I see the value of you coming in, and you would bring so much, but I don't know if that's the right deal right now for
I'm
me.
different than any investor you have.
He's more arrogant.
I'm sorry. I know my value, Hector. You got to make a decision. I'm not flexible.
Is there any flexibility with the equity?
$500,000. I cry like a baby when I lose 500,000. I get on my knees and I
And it happens
break
a
down.
lot.
It's a lot of money.
It never happens.
Well, it's a loan, so why don't you ask him for 750?
Is that a possibility?
No, Lori.
Can I?
Lori didn't
Then
even
why
make
don't
you
you
an
ask him
offer.
for $1 million?
You can ask for anything you want. The answer is no. Great deals, both sides feel pain. I'm feeling pain about 500,000 in corporate risk.
I would have
You're
asked him
feeling
for
pain
like
about the 10%
$600,000. It's another $100,000.
How's it a risk?
Yeah,
I think
it's
he
a
would do it.
loan.
It's the
Yeah, I'm
dilution.
gonna
I'm like,
pay
he's
you
going
back.
to go issue shares. That's diluting me down from 10%.
Well, why don't you make it non-dilutable?
I could do that, but that would.
We can work that in. We'll make your shares non-dilutable. You stay at
Ooh,
5%.
smart.
I'll do the 500K in as a line of credit in exchange of 5%, and that 5% that you own will not get diluted.
Not bad.
So not dilutable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lock it.
Ooh,
Hmm.
that is
That's an
fair.
idea right there for
You
you. Kevin.
cannot lose less than 5%.
Hector, you have a deal.
Yeah, Kevin.
Smart. Whoa. Sorry, I thought it was smart. It was a good deal.
It's a pleasure.
What do you
too,
think?
man.
Thank you so much.
Very
It's very
creative.
great.
So, what do you think? Do you think that was a good deal? I mean, look, he got one. I think that he did an excellent job with that. Smart to make the shares non-dilutable, meaning that once he papers that deal, it doesn't matter who comes after Kevin or tries to make a deal. They can't. His shares can't be diluted. They will always stick with him and with the sale of the company. So I think that both sides were slightly uncomfortable, but they both got what they wanted, which was the ability to service debt and the ability to actually grow the business. I think at the end of the day that a lot of these deals, they don't have to be lose-lose. You don't want them to be lose-lose because nobody wins, of course. You want them to be win-win. And part of a win-win when you're negotiating a deal like this sometimes is that you give up something that you don't necessarily want to give up, and the other side gives up something that they don't necessarily want to give up. It's a compromise and for the good of the company because you both have the same goal, which is the company to sell and to sell for as big a valuation as possible so you can make as much money as possible. So anyways, thank you for tuning in. My name is Micah Logan. I am the host of the Common Sense Show, and this was Shark Tank Deconstructed. And if you want to see more episodes, all you got to do is click the link right now.